Good morning, friends, and a very warm welcome to the Sunday Catch-Up. My name's Adam Holmes. I'm a songwriter and a coach from Edinburgh in Scotland. I've been self-employed for the last 13 years as a professional within the creative industries. I have nearly 500,000 followers on all my different platforms. I've released 8 studio albums. I've produced dozens of albums for other people. My music has featured on BBC pretty extensively, in Hallmark movies. I had a song featured in the TV show Outlander. As a performer, I've shared bills with the likes of Van Morrison, John Prine and Sturgill Simpson, to name a few. I'm a daddy to a wee 6-year-old girl. You can see her unicorn drawings in the background. They were not me, they were her. That was her. I can't take credit for them. Every Sunday I take a wee bit of time to talk about something that I'm thinking about, and my genuine hope is that it can help you too on your journey, be that as a creative or just in your life generally. And this week I've been in Edinburgh. I did a show about a week ago in Tayport, which is not too far away from Edinburgh. It was a lovely show. We did this gig in a village hall, and it was a really good vibe. We had a kind of horseshoe vibe, everyone right round us. Me and Jen, she was playing the Indian harmonium and I was singing, and that was a lot of fun. Got back to Edinburgh and I was going to have my daughter back on Wednesday. I co-parent her. We do half and half, me and her mum, and I was going to have her back on Wednesday, and there'd been a mix-up with the dates. Happens sometimes, you know, when you're co-parenting with someone else. And there was a long time where me and Rosa's mum had to be really kind of tight about the schedule just to establish that. It's really tough when you break up. It's like you go from living the most intimate life possible, right, to the opposite, right, to creating these schedules and these boundaries. When I found out that she wasn't going to be coming back on the Wednesday, it was initially I felt sad because, you know, I was looking forward to seeing her. But then I realised, well, how do I want to approach this situation right now? Because I think what can happen for me, I don't know about you, what can happen for me is I can make a decision about something and go, this is going to serve me, I'm going to do this. And I'm very, very intentional and single-minded about that kind of decision. And that can come down to things like structures as well. But on this occasion, when I received the news, right, she's not coming back today, I thought, well, how do I want to be about this? And in the past, I have been very disciplined and structured, and no, it needs to be like this. And I think it's really important to be able to re-choose an attitude or a perspective from our current position. So from my current position now, whilst I was disappointed about it, I thought, well, it's happening. What do I want my life to be like right now? And also, do I want to be the kind of person who is really dependent on that kind of structure to be stable within myself? So it's interesting. I think a lot of us as parents can feel that our own children can give us that kind of sense of structure and routine. And ultimately, it's not their job, it's ours. So I decided in the moment, right, I'm just going to keep my own routine, keep my own structure. And I got to the gym and I just worked out and wished her well on her trip and wished her mum well. And for me, that felt like a big win, guys. I'll be honest. It felt like progress because I think for a long time I felt like I really had to kind of fight to keep that structure, keep that routine. But on this occasion, now that frame is built, it felt okay just to relax a little bit. So in my personal life, that really kind of felt like progress this week, and I wanted to share that. Hope you guys have had a good week. I've opened a new section of the club. Those of you who don't know, I have a club. There's 600 of us in there. We focus on living a more creatively fulfilling life, a life full of creative confidence, a life where we focus on what matters and what is good and what is positive. And so if you fancy joining that, you can click the link in the top comment. It only costs $1.50 to join. That said, I'm starting a new section, and it's a section on money and a section on prosperity. And I think money is such an interesting topic for so many of us. And I think so many of us are actually conditioned to think about money as a negative thing, right? It's a little bit like, imagine if we looked at cake as a negative thing because some people get diabetes or get overweight, how crazy that would be. And yet it's very, very normalized to think about money as a negative thing. I want to explore why that is and why it's maybe not helpful for some of us who are not Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or Donald Trump or whoever at the top, right? We're just normal people. Why would it benefit us maybe as normal people to have a positive mindset on money? How could we benefit from that? How could we benefit from being financially healthy in our mindset? And so today I'm going to speak with you about money mindset. So humans are animals, right? And when you think about animals, what do animals need? They need to survive and they need opportunity. How do they get that? Through status. There's different kinds of status that we can use to peg ourselves differently in the hierarchy of things as an animal species. I think there's three kinds of status that are available to us as humans. One is social, as in our social standing. And social standing is quite an interesting one because it's complicated. You know, you can, on one end, have social standing for being a guy who has a massive big house. On another end, you could have social standing for being someone who's in opposition to BP oil, right? That could give you a form of social status as well. I think we tend to think about social status as being reserved exclusively for those who have tremendous means. Though in my view, actually, social status can also be used by those who are in opposition to powers that be. The second kind of status you can have is economic, aka resources, be that financial, be that housing. And the third would be physical, as in being particularly beautiful, being particularly muscular, you know, physical status, being able to fight, physical status. Now, I think a lot of people, what they can do when they think that they're not going to get their status from the economical side, can really raise the level of their social status. And sometimes maybe they feel the only way that they can do that is by bringing down people who are on the higher end of the social status ladder, if you like. I think generally people will overcompensate. And here's the thing, this thing that I've learned for myself, and this has helped me. Money is abundant. This is a fact. The only lack is perception. There is an abundance of money in the world, in the sense that you know for a fact that there's a lot of money in the world. Some people have, some people have not. But there isn't a dispute about the fact that there is a lot of money in the world. And so the only question you need to ask yourself is, where do you want to be on that scale of having or not having? For you personally, where do you want to be? It brings up so much interesting stuff for us, doesn't it, money? And I can almost feel you as I'm talking about this. I can feel the charge. I can feel the charge within myself of all of the social conditioning that we feel around money. But the reality is you can do more good with it than without it. Your own personal poverty is not going to help anyone. It just isn't. So if you want to help, my recommendation would be get yourself on a level and then help. Because the drowning man can't help the other drowning man, right? The best thing you can do is sort yourself out, get on a level, and then you can help. To create more economic strength, one must decide to be aligned with the truth of abundance. This is ultimately a journey of self-worth. You must believe you're supposed to be rich. Let's define rich. What does rich mean? It could mean for you having £1,000 in savings. It could mean for you earning 2,500 a month rather than 2,000 a month, right? I'm not saying you need to be a millionaire, a billionaire, whatever. I just mean, what is rich for you? And if you ask yourself that question, what you will find is there is an answer for you. And it's probably an answer which is a solution to an issue that you're having in your life. Conditioning of society is mainly done by people who are pushing for social status by glorifying struggle and sacrifice. This is possibly a religious hangover. I was raised in a Catholic primary school, and the constant message was struggle and toil is good and righteous, and ease is, the devil makes work for idle hands, etc. Many will argue, I have health, I don't need money. I have love, I don't need money. Which to me is like saying, I have arms, I don't need my legs. They're different things. But again, this comes back to the social status angle, right? People can think, if I have love, I don't need money. And those people who have money, they don't have love, right? Of course they have love. They're human beings, right? Reality is having both is actually better. True happiness equals serving others. Those who reject money are actually rejecting service. In my life as an artist, the more people that I've chosen to serve, the more money's come to me. That's a beautiful thing. Also, overcoming the ego equals evolvement. Now, ego is a very misunderstood thing in my view, and I'd like to take a moment to explain what I think ego is. I think most people think ego is arrogance. Someone with an ego is someone who's incredibly arrogant. Actually, it's also true that an ego can be the thought, I'm not good enough, the belief I'm not good enough. The ego also obviously can be, I'm better than everyone else. The ego also can just simply be the story that you have about yourself. There's a brilliant book called The Power of Now. And I read this book 5 or 6 years ago, and it's one of those books that just changed my mind about everything. I could never see the world the same way again. And one of the main lessons in that book is that the ego is simply any point in time which isn't now, right? My story that I told you at the start, I'm Adam Holmes, I'm a songwriter and coach. I've been self-employed for 13 years. I've got this many followers. I've done this many art. It's all a story, right? It's all a story about the person that I am. I'm a dad to a 6-year-old girl is a story. They're all stories. The ego, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's knowing how to use it. But the ego is like this kind of map, right? And we use this map to navigate the world. And the world's incredibly chaotic. And it's very wild. And so we create these kind of maps and they give us a sense of certainty, right? I could say, I'm a songwriter and I like jumpers and I live in Edinburgh. And that gives me this kind of sense of certainty. Or you could say, I'm a mortgage broker and I grew up in Montana and I like these kind of cars. That's all the story. The argument in The Power of Now is our true self and our true being is much brighter, much lighter than that. And it's just about who we are in the moment. It's just about the sense of life that emanates from our being, way beyond the realm of ego. Overcoming the ego equals evolvement. So for me, in my journey of money and creating more money and accepting more money, I had to overcome a story. And my biggest story was coming from poverty, coming from a background where money was scarce. I had to overcome a story that money was bad, that rich people were bad. I had to overcome a story that money was scarce, that I wouldn't have enough money. I had to overcome that story. And I had to create a new map for myself, a map through which I could navigate the world in a way which served me. A truly balanced ego is in service and relatively even-tempered. Constantly serving others for no reward equals self-harm. Serving others and receiving reward equals balanced. Many falsely believe their personal poverty helps distribute energy more fairly and serves those less fortunate. This is false, guys. If you're thinking, for you personally, that not having money is going to help anyone, that's false. It's a false belief. It's a thought error. You're not helping anyone by having personal problems in your money. In reality, people of means are more useful. Also, we need more good people with money. That equals a brighter future. I want to see everyone with a kind heart and a good spirit get rich. Would you not rather good people help the world by having money? Would you not rather the people at the top had money? So I have no doubt you watching this are a good person. I want you to have money because I'd rather that you were a steward of it than someone bad, if there is such a thing as someone bad. I want to talk now about rich people, okay? When I say rich people, what comes up for you? Rich people are interesting, right? Interesting to notice what it is that comes up. Biggest problem for most people with their money mindset is hating quote-unquote rich people. When doing so, you are simply proving that you've been conditioned by those seeking social status. Now, going back to our original point, people seeking social status, some examples would be mainstream media, people on social media, people in movies, people in TV shows, people in work conversations. These conversations are usually happening with people on a low vibrational plane. I'm not criticizing these people, by the way. I'm not judging them. I'm just saying most people are conditioned by the thoughts of those who are trying to drag others down to feel better about where they are. I'm not saying that everyone just wants to be rich and is jealous. That's not what I'm saying, just to be really clear. What I'm saying is that most people live an unexamined life. Most people have not done the work to just look at what sort of thoughts their mind's producing and question whether that's creating a personal map for them that's going to create them a good result. Most people are just sleepwalking. Ask yourself, would I trade places with this person? If you're listening to someone and they're saying, rich people are this, rich people are that, money's this, money's that, look at them and ask yourself, is that a person I would want to trade places with? That's just a question. The answer could be yes. If the answer is yes, great. You're in the right place. High self-worth appears as selfishness to low vibrational beings. What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is when your self-worth is low, making a decision, this is not just financial, but making a decision for your own benefit, for the benefitment of yourself, will appear only as selfishness to a low vibrational person. To a high vibrational person, it will not really appear as anything. To give an example from my own life, when my friend Tommy, who's constantly making films and constantly doing stuff, used to talk to me about what he was doing, I used to think he was being egoic. And the reason I thought he was being egoic is because I wasn't in my own vision. I wasn't in my own dream. But when I got into my own vision and I got into my own dream and I was just making my own stuff all the time and living a very, very creative life, I saw Tommy again. He hadn't changed, I'd changed, but he'd say to me, man, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm away to here and I'm making this thing. And I would just think, oh, cool, amazing. Tell me about that. That sounds interesting, right? Before, when I wasn't in my own vision, when I was just drinking and smoking weed and, working by day and not really in my own vision, my ego was telling me that he was putting himself higher than others when he wasn't. He was just saying what he was doing. Bring yourself up rather than bringing others down. It's a better equation. Politics, right? The job of politics is to divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. That's the crucial bit, divide. The main mantras of politics, really, if you wanted to boil them down to two statements, would be rich people are greedy, poor people are weak, depending on which side you are on. That's the bottom line. In reality, truth is, some poor people are greedy, Some rich people are weak. Some rich people are kind. Some poor people are unkind, right? It's ridiculous to look at rich people in any other way than just another person. They're just another human being. When you can look at a rich person and bless them, you'll know that you have evolved. Bless them, wish them well, send them love. Know that they will lose parents and go through divorce and lose friends, and people they love will get sick and they'll get depressed just like you. You have more in common with a human than not. Meditate on the pain that a rich person will experience in their human life. Find the balance. That's the reality. Find the balance. Watch that you're not being conditioned by mainstream media or low vibrational individuals of any kind to think that rich people are anything other than human beings with beating hearts. Now listen, are there negative constructs in the world around money? Yes. But what has that actually got to do with money? As I mentioned earlier, cake might be just as evil to human health, and yet you don't say it's the root of all evil. You'd never say cake is the root of all evil. Sugar could be argued as being way more harmful than money, right? It's like a hammer, right? You wouldn't say hammers are evil. You could certainly use a hammer for evil. Knives are evil. You could certainly use a knife for evil, but many of us use them every single day. And it's how you use them. The biggest challenge you will have is convincing yourself it's okay to be rich. Once you've done that, it's actually relatively easy. This is true. For me, it took me a lot of work, just self-worth, just thinking, why not me? Do you know what I mean? And I think for you, why not you? Why not you? Why not you have in your life the kind of life that you want to have? People will say, you're full of yourself. Who else should you be full of? You're meant to be full of yourself. God wants you to be full of yourself. Wanting money simply equals wanting life. When I say I want money, I'm not BP oil. I'm just saying I want more gigs. I want more people that I'm going to help. I want more experiences. I want to go more places, right? So wanting money is a positive thing. Define what rich is for you, and this is a really, really important one, guys. Ask yourself in all of these thoughts and questions around money for you, do they come from a place of high self-esteem or low self-esteem? Because if you say, I want to be rich, okay, what does that mean to you? I want to have £1,000 worth of savings. Okay, good start. And does that come for you from high self-esteem or low self-esteem? As in, are you saying 1,000 because you think you're only worth 1,000? What comes up for you when you say, I want to have 100,000 in savings? What comes up for you? The money is just a way for you to look at this relationship that you have with yourself and what you think you deserve in your life. If it was just a tool, which it is, would you ever think, well, I don't know if I deserve to have 100,000 hammers? You'd be like, no one would ever have that. But my point is, it's interesting all of the morality and emotion and charge that we put on this thing that is ultimately just a tool. Do you like your reason? My reason for creating wealth in my life is simple. I came from a place where I never thought that I would have that. I love to blow my own mind. I love to serve as an example. And I love to provide for my daughter. Those are my reasons. And those reasons give me a tremendous amount of strength and courage, which you need a lot of if you're going to create more means in your life. I've thought of 5 questions, and I'd like to share them with you. These are 5 questions which can help you uncover where your mindset is currently at. Number 1, do you know that you deserve money? When I ask you that, what comes up for you? I want you to think about a plant. Like a plant doesn't think, do I deserve the sun? I don't know if I deserve the sun today. Do I deserve the rain? Have I worked hard enough? Am I good enough? The plant just receives the sun, receives the rain. Can you receive money in that kind of way for yourself? Can you just think, I'm a human being, I'm some good, I'm some bad, but yeah, I deserve some money. I'll receive it. Can you feel that for yourself? Second one, what's your earliest money memory? I love this one. My earliest money memory is interesting, right? My dad gave me £20 to go to the shops, and he said, that's a lot of money, hold that really tight. And I can remember my little sweaty palm. I was running up the street holding this money in my hand, and I just felt like I had to hold on to it, you know? Isn't that an interesting early money memory? That's my dad's thoughts and feelings and conditioning, right? Not mine. But interesting. If you uncover yours, tell me. I'd love to know. I always find it fascinating. 3, how do you feel when you say, I love money? How do you feel? If you say to yourself, I love money. I love food, right? I love going to the gym. I love money. I love music, right? For me, it's just another thing to love, right? It's not, most people will hear, I love money. Oh, that's bad because I'm greedy, because I'm whatever. They put all this stuff onto it. But can you learn how to say that to yourself just from a healthy space? 4, are you comfortable having money? This is a really interesting one. Many people say, I want money. And then they get money and then they just spend it. And I'm not saying don't spend it. I love spending money on things. I mean, I'm going to go, I've got limited time, guys. I'm going to go way more into this in the club and in the course that I'm going to be doing in there. But what comes up for you? Most people just want to like buy stuff, have stuff, and get rid of the money. Are you actually comfortable having money? Say you have £1,000 in your bank and another £1,000 comes in. What's your thought? What do you need to quote unquote do with that other money? Can you just let it be there? Can you just relax and be with money? Is that something that feels comfortable for you? When I was early on in my journey, what I used to do was go and get £500 out the bank and just have it in a jar in my kitchen and just have it there and not spend it and just have it and look at it and just let it be there. Can you let it be? Do you feel an impulse like you need to get rid of it, or can you just let it be? Last question. How could I be a better friend to money this week? What comes up for you when I say that? Is there a little tax letter? Is there that you've not responded to? Is there a little bill you want to pay? Is there a little gift that you wanted to get for yourself? Is there just, should you just look at your bank account and notice where money's coming in and going out and just pay attention to it? How could you be a better friend to money this week? I want you to think about that for yourself this week. Think about how that's true for yourself. I have loved this talk today. I've loved chatting to you guys about money. I'm going to be doing a lot more talking about this in the prosperity section of my club. If you are interested in this kind of thing, definitely come and join us for the journey. It's going to be fascinating. I couldn't sleep last night because my head was been whirring with all this stuff. I've got a little golden book here and I've been writing everything that I know about money into there, and I'm so excited to share that with you guys. Karen from the club has already signed up. I think there'll be more today. I cannot wait to coach you guys on this stuff and learn about it. And it's just another element of health, isn't it? The same as lifting weights, the same as walking, the same as eating well. It's just another way of treating yourself well. And I hope that this talk has given you, even if you don't come and join us in the prosperity section of the club, I hope it's given you some different ways of thinking about your money mindset. You guys, thank you very much for listening. Whether or not you're going to join the prosperity section, do come and join us in the club, because there's loads of philosophy, there's loads of music, loads of good creative confidence content in there. If you want to join, click the link in the top comment. Everyone who is already in the club, love you guys. Thank you for being here, and have a great Sunday. Cheers.